Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Andrew's NASCAR Reviews. Today I'm going to be talking about the Cup Series race at Gateway and Indycar at Detroit. So yesterday Indycar put on another really good race at Detroit. This time we had Alex Palou and Will Power battling for the win with Flavor Flav there cheering on Will Power. We also had crazy battles with Felix Rosenquist and Alexander Rossi, the McLaren teammates. They had contact, they raced rough against each other. Felix and Alex got interviewed after the race. Rossi said they were going to speak about it internally. It was a really good race though. Pato O'Ward had problems, a lot of contact. Callum Allott going over the back of Kyle Kirkwood on the start. Overall though, Alex Palou gets another win for Chip Ganassi. He's having another good season. He could get another championship. I do think the battle this year is definitely just going to be between him and Newgarden. I think I'm going to have to say Palou will probably end up winning the championship this year, which will be his second. I think he's just putting together another good season for Chip Ganassi. And then on the NASCAR Cup Series side of things, we got the race started. Tyler Reddick runs in the Stenhouse and spins, and then we got the lightning delay, which honestly kind of worked out, so a lot of fans could switch over and watch the end of the IndyCar race while NASCAR was under the lightning delay. But we finally got the race back started, and not a whole lot happened for a little while. Everybody was looking at Carson Hocevar. He was running in around 16th for the Spire team, filling in for Corey LaJoie, who was filling in for Chase Elliott. And Hocevar was really the star of the show at the beginning. Nobody expected him to really be up there and outrunning Corey LaJoie. Corey was running around, the mid to late 20s, and then he was running like 31st, 32nd for a little while. And I think everybody really thought Corey would be a top 10, top 15 car the whole day, and it just really didn't happen. But of course, Hocevar did have the brake rotor problem, and he did get into the wall, and it ended his day early, which was really disappointing. Hocevar was having a great debut for one of the smaller teams in NASCAR, and he was outrunning a lot of the big teams. I feel like brake rotors is what everybody's talking about after this week, with Hocevar having his problem. Both of the 2311 cars, Tyler Reddick and Bubba Wallace, both had brake rotor problems and got into the wall. Also, a lot of people are wondering, is Austin Cindric going to be penalized? I think it looked more like a racing deal. It kind of looked like Austin Cindric went down and Austin Dillon came up. Either way, I hate that it took out Ricky Stenhouse. He was having such a good run. He was having another top 10 run in that JTG car. Just doing a lot with small equipment. He's the Daytona 500 winner for this year, and he's just like, he's having his career season. They mention it every now and then, but for someone who's been in Cup since 2014, 2015, he's really having his best career season this year. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, I'm a Trackhouse fan. I have a Trackhouse shirt on right now. Ross Chastain. Ever since a few weeks ago, when Rick Hendrick kind of called out Ross, and then, they said there was going to be some tough talks with Ross, he has just not been performing the way he has been since he's been at Trackhouse. Ross again this week, he got up there, maybe in the teens for a little bit, but I feel like he just was never a factor at all. He did have the incident where he spun McDowell, which he got on the rumble strips for that. It wasn't like he just spun him, but Ross just did not have a good run. It was kind of surprising, especially when Daniel was consistently up there like most of the race. He was running, 5th to 8th around there. I think he finished 7th, 8th, somewhere around there. But the last few weeks, Suarez has really been outperforming Ross. Then I want to talk about the disappointment of being an Alex Bowman fan last night. Alex wasn't having a great run like he had been having at the first part of the season before he was out with injury. He was running 12th to 20th, through there most of the race. But then on the last green-white checkered, his transmission went out and just dropped to the back. I think he finished 26th. It was just a really disappointing night. It takes him back out of the playoffs and the driver's standings, but Suarez back in. But another disappointing night for an Alex Bowman fan. And it's crazy to think that after years of Richard Childress really not being a top-tier team, that, last year Tyler Reddick won 3 races in that 8 car. Austin Dillon won 1 race in the 3 car. But this year, Kyle Busch already has 3 wins, which is insane for Richard Childress Racing. Kyle Busch is really coming on hot this year. especially after like a disappointing season or two at Gibbs. Then really, you know, it just seemed like he kind of got pushed out for Ty. But Kyle Busch is having a great season. I can't believe he's already got 3 wins. When they announced Kyle Busch was going to the 8 car, you know, I maybe thought he would win a race or 2 this year, but I did not expect him to win 3, especially this early into the season. But that will do it for this week. I think it was overall a pretty good race for Gateway. This week is Sonoma. I've not been doing good on these picks so far. I'm gonna go with a safe bet. I'm gonna pick Kyle Larson for this week. I think Kyle Larson's gonna get the win. All right, that has got it for this week's video. I'm hoping that this week at Sonoma we'll have another great weekend of racing.